So now we're getting to the nitty gritty of things. Even though House and Habit has blocked me, what I said to you yesterday is just fact checking true now, because she tried to pretend it was like a little light criticism and nothing was motivating it. And like, oh my gosh, Candace responded. And I was saying to you guys, something's off. Like, and people were messaging me, and it was very obvious that these attacks were not organic and that somebody behind the scenes was sort of telling her to go after people. But this is why on my podcast, I always say to you guys, like, always take measure of people, because when people get into politics, money corrupts them, access to people corrupts them, and they will use like the credit that they have built up with you. Like, oh, you trusted me because of my coverage or whatever. And then they'll try to kind of manipulate you and try to get you to hate somebody and pretend that it's organic. Like, oh, it was just a little light criticism, but there was just something funny about the piece. And people were messaging me being like, for some reason, House and Habit seems to have turned on you. And today, now you're seeing, like, this wasn't like a light little attack yesterday. Now she's like, Andrew Tate and yay, and my friend Jessica and my friend Megan. That's the real House and Habit. This was not, she was trying to like gently make you guys think that there was something problematic about me, when in reality, something else was guiding her. So just giving you guys the backstory here. Obviously, I have been a fan of hers. I have had no issues with her. So I was equally as surprised. And what she was doing behind the scenes was just so weird. Like, I didn't understand it. I started covering the Harvey case, as I've told you guys, and I didn't know that she was telling you guys not to watch the series. And now she's kind of admitting she's friends with Jessica Mann. She didn't tell this to me, that she was like friends with her, and who is one of the women that put Harvey in prison for 3 years. Like, that's fine if she's friends with her. But she should have been forthcoming about that to her audiences, as opposed to being like, I'm exhausted with this trial. Be like, actually, I built up a relationship with one of the victims, and here's my perspective. Instead, she's like trying to tell people not to watch the episode about Jessica Mann. And so she reached out to us on friendly terms, and she told me, like, Jessica Mann wants to speak to you. And I would never deny someone a platform. Like, I obviously have read through the case. I've read through her emails. I believe Harvey was wrongly convicted. I've made all of that very public. Somebody else got in touch with me and asked me to look at this case. I had no idea House and Habit ever covered it. And so my PR agent was in LA and went to meet with her, and thinking that she was just going to try to facilitate this conversation. Like, I didn't know if Jessica wanted to come on the show to give her side of it. Like I said, I would never shut off that tap, because maybe Jessica had some emails that didn't make it into the courtroom. Who knows? But that's why we paused the Harvey Speaks series, because I didn't want to not give Jessica the opportunity to be able to speak. And so she gets my PR agent there at this dinner, and that dinner, she brought Olivia Nuzzi with her, like RFK Jr. Olivia Nuzzi, that she has been taking down in piece after piece after piece. This person is now her best friend. I don't know how that happened. I don't really care. I have removed myself from political high school girl drama. I just, like, my life is very small, and I'm very happy with that. My friends are not in politics or journalism or anything, and I'm content with that. So anyways, Olivia Nuzzi was there, and she told my PR agent all of a sudden, like, that actually one of her writers was working on a hit piece about me. And obviously my PR person was thrown off by this, because he was like, oh, I thought this was like a friendly dinner or whatever. And she spun this story that, like, this younger junior editor on her team was working on a hit piece about me, but more specifically about my husband and Andrew Tate. And I told him, I was like, let her run the piece, because there's just nothing there. Like, there's literally, like, trust me, I went through the ringer last year, people going through every layer of my life trying to find something. There's just nothing there. Like, my husband hung out with Andrew Tate like 5 times through PJW, who's like a YouTuber in the UK. Before he and I met, I've seen him 3 times publicly. You guys have seen me on screen with him, and 2 times beyond that. So I knew this was like one of these weird journalist attacks that just doesn't make any sense. And so what ended up happening since then is that reporter who was working on that piece has since quit working for House and Habit, along with her best friend. And people have been talking about how basically, like, she just keeps accusing people of copying her style, cramping her style. And the reporter told me that the story was that she herself personally, as the reporter, Emily Hagan, was doing like a bunch of stories about me, attacking me, because she said that she thought that it was hypocritical, but I speak out against porn, but I wasn't speaking out against like Bianca Censori and Kanye, who I have a relationship with, and how they wear, like, how she was naked all the time. So she was like, that was from me. Then Jessica saw that I was getting a bunch of like views on those stories. And so Jessica asked me to do a further deep dive hit piece on you to be featured in her Sunday Substack. And so she said she started looking, and she started with this like video that was done by like Murder by Crayons on Instagram or something, or on Twitter or something. And it was basically made her think that maybe my husband was like my pimp. I don't know how she phrased it. I don't want to like misquote her, but that she basically was like, I fell for the conspiracy theory that there was like more here with the Andrew Tate thing. But she said, but then as I was investigating, she was like, I called people at Breitbart, and they basically were like, listen, like, for all the criticisms that I have about Candace, like, I know George, I know Candace, like, their relationship is real. There is nothing, like, this angle you're exploring is wrong. And she kind of, like, woke up a little bit and realized that she was just pursuing something that wasn't real. And then she said similarly, when she actually went back to see and what I said about Andrew Tate, she realized that all I was saying was that the Romanian case, and specifically the Romanian case, that I had read the files, and that case did not have enough evidence to convict him, which is what ended up happening. That case got sent back down because there wasn't enough evidence in it. And so she felt like the piece that she was working on wasn't strong enough, and she pulled it. And that she felt like she didn't want to commit the same thing that she accuses others of doing, which is just going with the mainstream media narrative and not actually doing your due diligence. And that she realized that she would actually need to have the time to go look at Andrew Tate's Romanian case and not just look at videos that are being put together on the internet, and that everyone was telling her that the angle about my husband just wasn't real based on her due diligence. And so anyways, her and House and Habit ended up having a falling out because she said that, I don't know, House and Habit accused her of copying her style. I don't know. It all sounds like very middle school and dumb, whatever is going on there. At the same time, she loses her best friend, Denise, to the same thing. Her new best friend is Olivia Nuzzi. But the point is that she told me that House and Habit was encouraging her to write this hit piece on me, which never ended up being published, because she was saying, like, Meghan McCain really wants it. Like, Meghan McCain really wants to see this piece. She really wants this done. So the backstory between me and Meghan McCain, which is actually ridiculous that she is trying to spin this as if I just called Meghan McCain clinically obese. No, the backstory is that all of us anti-vaxxers during COVID were being ruthlessly attacked by neocons who were telling us to roll up our sleeves and get a vaccine. And Meghan McCain, I don't know like who enacted her Queen of the World. She has never let this go. Like, it has literally broken her on the internet because it is true. But she was going around like calling people like, you know, stupid and dumb and whatever for not getting the vaccine. And she particularly attacked Joe Rogan and called him, like, I don't know if it was like a buffoon or stupid. I'd have to go back and see it. But she was attacking Joe Rogan, who dedicates his entire life to health, okay? And calling him stupid because suddenly she became the health queen because she rolled up her sleeve and got a vaccine. Whereas the people that are actually extremely health conscious don't do stuff like that. We don't just roll up our sleeves and put toxins in our body because it's trendy. And so he did not get the vaccine. I did not get the vaccine. And I was basically saying, like, we are now in a crazy world. Like, I responded to her attacking Joe Rogan. And I was like, we are now in an upside down world where people who are literally clinically obese are accusing people who have dedicated their entire lives to health of being unhealthy. Like, that's crazy. A clinically obese person should not be being able to dunk on Joe Rogan because he is making a decision. Like, I'm sorry, but I'd rather listen to Joe Rogan. I mean, it was upside down land. There are people that we have followed forever who have cared about their health. Like, for example, Bethany Frankel would be someone. Girl was talking about skinny margaritas before anybody even knew what the ingredients were in the regular margarita, dedicated her life to yoga. It would have been a crazy flip in the script if during COVID, like Mama June from Here Comes Honey Boo Boo season 1 is like, you know, Bethany Frankel is unhealthy. Like, that's what was happening during COVID. They were just being insane and coming after us, these people who never cared about health. And I stood up for Joe Rogan. And so it's a very important context that she's like not applying here or not giving to her users, that like she's acting like I just like randomly attacked Meghan McCain. No, Meghan McCain was just out here attacking people that have been health nuts their entire life. And I just said to her the truth. In reality, you are clinically obese and no one should be taking advice from you at this time. And I bet a lot of people who listened to her, because she decided to elect herself like the PE coach of COVID because she rolled up her sleeves, regretted it. But Meghan never let this go. She has been behind the scenes with her husband trying to orchestrate hit pieces on me since. And it's like, girl, just take the L. You don't have to, like, it's just weird that you were attacking people. That's it. You were attacking people and you got a response from me. It's the same exact story here with House and Habit. Nobody did anything to her. And she just like randomly decided to attack me and my family because unbeknownst to us, she wasn't honest that she's friends with Jessica Mann. And I think you guys should know that. And if you go watch my episode on Jessica Mann and Harvey Weinstein's relationship, you're going to probably realize that maybe she wasn't being so forward with you about why she was dissuading people from watching it. Now she's being honest. Now she's saying, my friend is reliving this. She never said this to us. She never said this to us. She was just like, oh, Jessica Mann would like to connect. We said, sure, trying to be like fair journalists. And then she, I guess, was just working on a hit piece to try to destroy my reputation because she didn't want me to like get into the truth about like the story of Harvey Weinstein. So it just feels like she's not that honest of a reporter. Now she's being honest. Now she's blocked me. And I did nothing but respond to her petty attacks because I knew what was happening behind the scenes. And so that's the full story. Like there's nothing I have to hide. I'm waiting for the hidden wealth. Like I am here for that. Do not ruin that for me. If I find out I'm a princess, I'm forgetting you all. Like I will literally, if there's like some random trove of treasure that she's unpacked and I am like royalty and I have a kingdom somewhere, I will forget you all. I hope that part's true, but it's going to be hard for me to see it now that she's blocked me. So like I said, great lesson for you guys and how people are trying to curate your mind and pretending that they don't have a horse in the race when they actually are. The one thing you'll always get from me is I will tell you the truth. I'll tell you where I stand on it. I'll tell you how I met someone, how I know someone, whether it's, Andrew Tate, which I've told you 1,000 times. I literally have met this person. I've seen him less than 5 times. So this is like a weird media spin. Or, whether it's Kanye, I will say, I just don't want to talk about that publicly because there's a private relationship, but I will never pretend that I don't have a horse in the race and then try to curate your mind a different way because I think that's really sleazy. And I think what she did was wrong and that she should own that. She should own that she was actually being motivated by her friendship with Meghan McCain and tell the truth about why I called her clinically obese. It wasn't like just a random like Tuesday and I punched her in the face and called her clinically obese. That's like, no, that's not what I did. So anyways, we'll talk about that more on the show, but I think she has really showed her hand and I think a lot more will come out with her employees because there's a lot more behind it. And like, she feels protected by politics and she's treating people really badly and she's starting fights with people for no reason. And what you saw in the DMs, that was real. There was nothing that motivated that. She just was going off and just making weird threats. I don't know. Anyways, that's it.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. See, people at your face, there will be something else, but then at your behind or when they're not in front of your face, they will be different. It's like chameleon changing colors. That's what Candace is in this video is talking about because I do see that she have received a lot in her career. She have received a lot of backbiting people and pretend to be friends, and that's why you gotta take very heed of it or be careful who you tell your dream. Even in the Bible, when Joseph tells his dreams to his brother hated him. And prosperity, of course, when people don't understand, when prosperity come, Candace, the level she is right now, you're gonna see a lot of people coming against her, having a podcast number 1, number 2. It's amazing, phenomenal. And people have just hate relationship is going on. Even people turning their backs on Candace when I see in the past episodes and stuff that she's talking about, because she is thoroughly covering some of the subject that people are not liking. Excuse me. There was another case, I think she covered it and she went to the bottom of it. It was Bridget Macron, and they did not like that very much. And she got a lot of pushback. And you see that for being a journalist, and also not just only any journalist, but to be a successful one, you're going to get some backlash, people coming against you, so that's part of her life, I think. And now Candace described it very well. So good job, Candace. Thank you.